You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Well, thanks for riding the storm out with us here on the Ref, folks. It's REO Speedwagon, right? I think so, riding the storm out. Were you raised on classic rock, Grayson?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're not going to be a good reference for those types of things. It's too bad Steely already left.
I've tried to get into it. Like, I've delved into some Bon Jovi. I've delved into some Journey. I love Journey. Does that count as classic rock, or are we talking about something different here?
I'll accept it.
Okay.
I'll accept it.
But
I'll accept Journey and Bon Jovi.
So, yes, no, I was not raised on that at all.
I mean, what a unique day in the state of Oklahoma. Hopefully all of you are staying safe. I'm sitting here in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios watching wildfire coverage like I would watch tornado coverage in May or June most years in Oklahoma. I mean, it's like we have multiple screens in this studio. Everybody's doing wildfire coverage. That's the entirety of the programming on local TV right now is wildfire coverage because, if somehow you're not up to speed yet, we have a dust storm moving through Oklahoma with gusts, I guess, up to 80 miles an hour. A dust storm, folks. A haboob, as some might call it. This reminds me, and what a phenomenal word that is. Haboob.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you came up with that.
Yeah, no, that's like I don't know if it's the technical term for the storm or just an alternative descriptor. But yes, we are dealing with a haboob in the state of Oklahoma. This reminds me of the summer of 2020, the COVID summer. I was on a road trip with a few friends, an almost 2-week-long road trip that took me all the way out to California, up through Nevada and Colorado, back down into Oklahoma. And there was this one day, and it was maybe day 3 of the trip, where we started out in New Mexico. No, we started out Lubbock, Texas. We started out the day in Lubbock. This was day 2. Start out the day in Lubbock, drive through Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Good place.
You like Las Cruces?
Yeah, we took a family vacation there a couple of years ago.
Okay, that's cool. I liked Las Cruces. Michael Boganowski's dad played defensive end down there at New Mexico State back in the early 2000s. I'm sure he'll text me within minutes about that shout-out because he's a regular listener. But so we drive through Las Cruces. My car starts misfiring, so that's an issue in and of itself. But we get past Las Cruces, and the route we were going, the next big city that you hit is Tucson, Arizona, which is nice. I have family in Tucson, and so I'm looking forward to seeing them. And as we're driving through Arizona, approaching Tucson from the east, I mean, we're talking Nowhereville. I mean, there is no civilization for miles and miles and miles. And I experienced the most unique weather phenomenon that I've ever experienced to this day. From one direction is blowing in a haboob, a dust storm, and from the other direction is blowing in a monsoon.
What?
Yes, I kid you not. And so you have you have dust blowing at you from one direction, and then rain hitting you, hard rain, hitting you from the other direction. There is mud everywhere.
I was about to say.
My car is covered in mud. The roads are covered in mud. At this point, we're getting close to Tucson, so the roads are a little bit more trafficked. Everybody's car is covered in mud. It's a giant mud storm. Half monsoon, half haboob. Mon-boob, if you will.
I don't know if that came across how you wanted it to.
I'm rolling with it. CJ Sooner in Florida says, I've seen a haboob or two in my day. Perhaps, but have you seen a mon-boob? Gunny of Studsman already says, Lubbock. the sphincter of hell.
Good word.
You're not wrong,
Good
Gunny.
word. I'll tell you what. I was in Yukon earlier today. I literally just walked into the station like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, where you been?
Well, I was in Yukon calling Norman and Mustang's state semifinals for the girls.
How'd it go?
Mustang defeated Norman by 14. I think 14 or 15. But driving back from Yukon, that's usually what a 40-minute drive back here. Took me over an hour.
Because of the haboob?
Yes. You could not you couldn't drive over 70 miles an hour without completely overworking your engine. And I was just like, you know what? I'll just take I'll take the hour.
Wow. What a time.
It's not fun out there, I'll tell you that.
I mean, I'm watching news footage right now on these screens of wildfires across the state of Oklahoma. So please, folks, if you're listening, no matter where you are across the state, be weather aware today because fires are dangerous.
You don't say.
Listen, I know there are certain people that are going to treat wildfires like I treat tornadoes. I am not fazed by tornadoes at all at this point.
I remember.
I have lived my entire life in the Midwest, and I have an all too chipper attitude about tornadoes.
I remember when I was a kid, my uncle who lives in Portland now, Portland, Oregon, he told me when it comes to tornadoes, and even I guess fires to some degree too, he's like, yeah, like our people, man, we just go inside when it comes to that. He's like, white people, they just love to follow them.
Oh my goodness, man!
That's why you have to tell these people that, hey, be smart. Like, don't go following everything. But it's one of the funniest things about certain white people that I love.
Hands up, I am a white person. In case you didn't know, now you know. I do not chase tornadoes. That's a little adventurous for me. But like my wife made me install a storm shelter at our house.
Oh, really?
If she hadn't made me, I probably wouldn't have done it because I don't know.
I mean, you and I are in the same boat. I mean, North Texas gets tornadoes all the time.
The Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, accessible to all of you throughout the show at 651-3439. Locked in, brought to you today and every day by the great folks at Dorsey Jones Buick GMC out in El Reno. Take a drive out there. Maybe not today because of the haboob, but if you want a half-price oil change, guess what? They got those on Saturdays. So tomorrow might be a great opportunity for you to get out there to Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno, family-owned and operated. Great sales staff, great sales environment, great service advisors. So many reasons why it's worth the trek out to El Reno to do business with Dorsey Jones. Chonky Chuck chiming in and said, yep, it's ugly out here, boys. I believe it, Chonky Chuck.
Stay safe, homie.
I believe it 100%. Text us in updates if you have them from wherever you are. We just want to make sure all of our listeners across the Ref Army are staying safe. But let's pivot here and let's start talking OU football and recruiting. And recruiting is where I want to kick things off on this Friday because, Grayson, there was a very intriguing new offer that went out yesterday in the 2026 class. 4-star linebacker Adam Balogun Ali out of the state of Florida. Yes. What you're going to have to do now is mute your mic. I'm going to do my best to filibuster for the next minute and a half because there's going to be an automated voice in the studio that you can't turn off that's going to relay a weather update, and anything you try to say into your microphone will be drowned out by said automated voice. So just give it a second. I'll try to carry the conversation until the update is over. But a very intriguing new offer yesterday to Adam Balogun Ali, outstanding linebacker from the state of Florida, Cardinal Newman High School. But what's particularly interesting about this offer, and it is the newest by a pretty significant margin in the 2026 class. It's not as if the Sooners are tossing out new offers to rising seniors left and right. But the significance of this offer and the significance of this particular prospect is that Adam Balogun Ali is from the state of Oklahoma. He grew up in Mustang. He is from Mustang, America, left the state when he was in 6th grade, moved down to Florida. But there's a very obvious connection. Right there, right? And it's kind of crazy that it took Oklahoma that long to offer, given that that connection was present. But now that they are in on Adam Balogun Ali, who grew up an Oklahoma fan, obviously 45 minutes away from campus, I expect him to be a major player for another big-time linebacker in the 26 class. And we were talking earlier in the week, Grayson, about how that's getting to be a pretty robust board for Nate Dreiling and Wes Goodwin and Brent Venables and James Skalski and all of the involved individuals who have leadership over that linebacker group.
First of all, you guys have to forgive me here. I am a little shook because I've never done radio through a National Weather Service update.
Understandable.
Which might surprise you because I did radio for 2 years in Stillwater, but that never happened while I was on the air. I don't think this is a surprise. I don't think this is a surprise one bit that the board has gotten so robust at linebacker because you've got linebacker background coaches everywhere you turn with Oklahoma, and I think it's a good thing. I love how they're hopping on the connection. I'm with you. I saw this last night, and my immediate thought when I saw that you broke down the connection was, what took so long? Given the linebackers that they're targeting, it makes sense why it took so long. But at the same time, they are entering a space where they can't miss. Now, not every high school recruit turns out to be a great college player in the SEC. We know that. But in terms of whichever 2, 3, 4, whatever combination of that total that you want to take, you're going to be in a pretty good spot with the fan base and with your development program. You're going to feel pretty good about whoever you end up getting because that board is so robust and filled with the volume of talent that it is.
And there were some listeners, I guess the listeners that were tuned in on the AM side, that missed the beginning of that whole conversation because of the National Weather Service alert. To bring you up to speed, Oklahoma offered 4-star linebacker Adam Balogun Ali yesterday, 6'2", 215 pounds, at a Cardinal Newman High School down in Florida, but he's from the state of Oklahoma. Again, Mustang is where he lived until age 12, as I understand it. Then he moved down to Florida, but grew up an Oklahoma fan. This was an offer that he coveted, certainly one that's going to be a heavy, heavy consideration for him. I touched base with him yesterday. He said, even before Oklahoma offered, I had a little bit of a heads up that it was coming. And so I touched base with him, and he told me if Oklahoma offered, they're top 5 immediately. Immediately, even before I visit. Which is pretty significant considering the other big-time offers that kid has. I believe Oklahoma was his 30th FBS scholarship offer. And
So
he's got some of the big boys involved.
is there any, and part of your conversation with him, I don't know how in depth that you went with him, but was there any part that sticks out to him about Oklahoma other than the fact that he grew up here?
Anything that sticks out to him? No, and I don't know if there will be until he visits. But,
Okay.
as with anybody that grew up in the shadow of Gaylord family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, watching OU football games, and obviously those were some pretty good years, right? Those were the Baker, Kyler, Jalen Hurts years. And so there's a lot to like for him about the possibility of coming back to Oklahoma to play college football. We'll have to see the extent of the Sooners' involvement moving forward, but he's a very highly coveted guy. Again, nationally regarded prospect, top 150 dude. And so I would expect that Oklahoma's going to press hard for him. I would absolutely expect that Oklahoma gets an official visit from Adam Balogun Ali when the time comes. What I'm going to be curious to see is whether they can get him to town before official visit season, if they can get him to town later this month for an unofficial practice visit, kind of like they're doing with guys like Braxton Lindsey and Bo and Nico Jandro, who are all coming into town on the 29th of March. A listener down in Texas, OU No BB, says, are you guys getting my texts? Coming to you live from Chalk, Texas. Wind is 50-plus miles per hour. I tell you, from what I'm seeing right now on the screens in front of me as we're tracking severe weather coverage on the television, I would guess that the winds are about similar, if not even stronger, here in the state of Oklahoma. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing right now is just absolutely insane.
I was telling Casey this when I got here. I got out of the car to get some gas and more. This was probably 40 minutes ago. Stepped out and almost blew me over.
I tell you, I've genuinely never seen anything like this.
Really?
Yeah, well, no, like, and I'm not saying it's worse than any weather I've ever seen, but just a very unique phenomenon going on right now. I mean, I'm sure this would be old hat to some of the folks out west that have to deal with wildfires on an annual basis just because of how the climate is out there. But I've never witnessed this up close and personal.
I guess I should probably switch my TV to this and not Auburn and Mississippi.
By the way, BB, where is Chalk, Texas? Let me know. Never heard of it. Always like to know where you're listening from, though, and to just have a general frame of reference of where that's at. Patrick says, the power is out at my house in Edmond. My back door is off the hinges, and leaves are pouring in the living room, and my fence got blown down. Any suggestions how I can stop the leaves coming in the house? Goodness gracious.
I got nothing for you,
My
homie.
prayers are going up to you. I have no idea how to help you. I wish I did. Please, folks, do your best to stay safe. Jojo in Tulsa says, reminder, all you trampoline owners out there, make sure you tie it down. Hashtag learned that the hard way.
Okay, my family learned that the hard way, too. One time.
You lost a trampoline?
Oh, yeah, we lost that thing went, like, plowing through our roof.
Ooh.
We had a really bad hailstorm, 2016 maybe? I can't remember. If there's somebody in North Texas, you'll remember this. It was a really bad hailstorm, and my neighborhood was literally the epicenter of it in Wiley, Texas. And, we were at, gosh, how long were we in that hotel? 2 months?
Oh, wow.
No, dude, we watched the trampoline jump our house. Softball grapefruit-sized hail.
That's vicious, man.
It was horrible. I was going into my freshman, it was the summer before my freshman year of high school.
That's the Mid-South for you, though. By the way, Chalk, Texas is in the South Panhandle. That's crazy. Chalk, Texas, population 2. You're kidding.
2?
Well, who's the other one? You and who else? Ugh. Colin Claremore says, this is a good time to remind everyone about the awesome people at Brown O'Haver. Mrs. Alice at the best is the best. Yes. Shout out to Brown O'Haver. Lord knows they're going to be busy in the days ahead. Also, folks, have Cavens on speed dial. Cavens Disaster Response. They're going to be busy as well. We are very blessed to be surrounded by some great, great folks who run outstanding businesses, very helpful businesses during times like this here at the Ref. Let's take a quick break. We will continue talking OU football, recruiting, and haboobs on the other side. You're listening to the Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
This is Sooner linebacker Kobe McKenzie, and you're listening to the Ref, home of the Sooner fans.
This is Mark Van Hoos, owner of Van Hoos Fence. Van Hoos Fence has years of experience and proven superior performance, kind of like a certain head ball coach.
We know Van Hoos Fence offers the best value and service for your residential, commercial, or sports fencing needs. Whether it's a new install or repair work, let Mark and his team at Van Hoos Fence be your trusted resource.
Call us today at 405-735-1167.
Save yourself from Googling it up. Go to vhfence.com. They will work with you in a great way.
Tired of your current living situation? Now is the best time to make a move. Interest rates are dropping and Home Creations is offering the best financing around with rates as low as 3.625%. This will save you hundreds per month on your brand new Home Creations home. Live like a champion today by calling Holly at 405-364-9999 for full details.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
APR 6.508%.
Come shop Eskridge Honda's full inventory at our beautiful new location. Right now, get 0% for a full 72 months on select Honda SUVs in stock. And for every vehicle purchased in March, we'll donate $100 to Toby Keith's OK Kids Corral. That's 0% interest and a great cause. Now conveniently located at 89th and I-35 or online at eskridgehonda.com.
0% for 72 months on 2024 Honda Prologue EX 2-wheel drive through AHF ends 4/125.
March is here, and the home of Sooner fans is ready to make the best 68-team giveaway better than ever again this year. Join us Monday, March 17th for the Ref's 24th annual 68-team giveaway, live at Buffalo Wild Wings off of 19th Street and more from noon to 7 as we make this year's 68-team giveaway bigger and better with more ways to win than ever before. Come to the home of wings, beer, and sports and sign up in person. for a chance to get a team from the field of 68. The better your team does in the tournament, the better your prize. And even members of the Ref Army who don't get a team get a chance at one of more than 30 instant prizes throughout the event from noon to 7. The Ref's 68 team giveaway is presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. The Ref's 68 team giveaway is also brought to you in part by the Central Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers, Buffalo Wild Wings, Cavens Group, Westwood Family Aquatic Center, Mitchell's Jewelry, Signature Pool and Patio, Valiance Bank, Bob Hurley RV, OEC Fiber, and many more. That's the Ref's 24th annual 68 team giveaway on Monday, March 17th at Buffalo Wild Wings of Moore from noon to 7. The Ref, the home of Sooner fans, and your home for the best giveaways this March.
Hi, this is Monty Markham at Markham's Nursery. It's that time of year to get outside and spend some time in the yard, planting your favorite trees, shrubs, and flowers, and we've got a huge selection of them at Markham's. This Saturday and Sunday only, March the 15th and 16th, is our annual spring open house at all Markham's locations. Come by and stock up on seeds, bulbs, pottery, fertilizers, yard ornaments, and much more. We hope to see you this Saturday.
Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
Hi everybody, Toby Rowland here. And are you and your family looking for a place to golf in 2025? The Trails Golf Club in Norman is perfect for you. The Trails give you the opportunity for you and your family to spend quality time together by playing golf, enjoying the pool in the summertime, along with many family fun-filled activities around holidays. Plus, one of the best restaurants in town. Now is the perfect time to join the Trails. Contact Zane Alexander today at 405-360-3790 or visit trailsgolf.com.
Confirmed fires across the state in Yukon, Slaughterville, Leedy, Hominy, Yale, and right here in Norman. So again, folks, be weather aware. If you're out and about today across the state, I hope you're not. I hope you're all indoors and hunkered down. Not a good day to be outside. Parker, Thune, Grayson, Singleton here with you on Locked In. You're listening to the Ref Sports Radio Network. Doing our best to get through an apocalyptic day of weather in the state of Oklahoma with you. A big news in college sports today. Maybe the biggest news in college sports today, as of right now, is that Iowa has relieved head basketball coach Fran McCaffery of his duties after 15 seasons with the program. Gosh, this is social media epitomized. Everyone just ends up looking like an idiot. Connor McCaffery, Fran's son, who played at Iowa, obviously, tweeted out 3 clown emojis in response to Fran's firing. And scrolling through these replies, get ready to interview at Northwestern Mutual, buddy. You couldn't shoot a jump shot until year 5 in college, brother. You're such a loser.
Connor McCaffery. Is he the one? I could be wrong on this.
It's one of them. I don't know.
Is he one of the? Is he the one that's dating Caitlin Clark?
It's one of them. I don't know which one. I could not tell you. I think it's Connor. Not 100% sure. One of them's dating Caitlin Clark. Folks, don't involve yourself in perpetual Twitter beef. It's okay to exchange barbs with folks every now and again. Just don't be one of those people that you spend half your life in the replies on Twitter beefing with randos. Find a hobby. I sound like Steely right now, but it's true.
Parker Steely Jr.
Work with the guy for long enough, he starts to rub off on you. Gunny Stutzman.
I mean, you're right, though.
Gunny Stutzman Army says, only confirmed fire around my house is isolated to the vicinity of my bong. I would expect nothing less, Gunny.
So concerned. I was so concerned as you kept going through that text.
Just be careful, Gunny. Be careful how you extinguish said bong. Brian and Bixby said, we had a Saharan dust storm here in Tulsa 3 years ago. I do not recall that.
3 years ago? I would have been here. I don't remember that.
Not that Travis in Tulsa says, call Cavens for the emergency board-up service to keep the leaves out. I think that was in reference to Patrick last segment, who said his back door was off the hinges and he had leaves blowing in. Yeah, folks, listen. If you do not have Cavens' disaster response group, you don't have their contact information, save it. If you're here in the 405, it's 405-928-6971. If you're in the 918-282-7612. Their 24/7 emergency line is 1-800-594-4437. And so, if you find yourself in need of emergency/disaster response today or over the weekend after all this weather, Cavens, those are going to be the people to call. A 918 listener says, driving north to Kansas City, getting about 45 miles a gallon in my Ford pickup. What?
The hell?
What? Is that what trucks are getting these days?
No, I bet you he's getting wind assistance.
Oh,
because the wind's blowing north.
Gotcha.
It's been blowing north all day.
Tracking that makes a lot more sense. So my goodness, the newest car I've ever owned is the car I own right now, which is a 2016 Nissan Rogue. So clearly, there's been more modern technology in the last decade applied to these vehicles. But
I was about to say my Mazda gets 34. Doesn't even get 40.
Let's talk some OU spring football. And let's circle back around to a conversation that we were having yesterday that we just didn't have time to completely come full circle on. And that, of course, is the conversation of guys that we aren't talking about enough this spring for OU. And your top 5 list was what again? Give me a refresher.
Deion Burke's health.
There you go.
Kobe McKenzie, Derek Simmons, the backup corners, and Troy Everett.
That's right.
It was not in that order, but those were the 5.
You took some creative license with Deion Burke's health and the backup corners, but that's acceptable. Deion Burks is certainly, to me, a guy that I don't feel like is getting talked about near enough, even ever since the 2024 season ended. And I think, part of that is natural because he's been hurt and because he was hurt for most of the 2024 season. I'd just say this, though. If you go back to Purdue-era Deion Burks, and even the early days of Deion Burks' tenure at Oklahoma, you saw a guy that had superstar potential.
Yeah.
You saw a guy that had all SEC potential, and his health or lack thereof derailed it. And so, yeah, he's going to have to get healthy. It's a good point that you bring up, but assuming Deion Burks is healthy, man, that's a guy that has wide receiver 1 potential, and I think he's probably the guy that would be the odds-on favorite in Vegas right now to lead Oklahoma in receiving yards in 2025. Javonte Gibson is certainly somebody that a ton of folks would be putting money on. There'll be other guys that have a case, right? But Deion Burks, you feel like you know what you're getting in a healthy Deion Burks, which is a guy that just creates separation, can operate effectively at all 3 levels, can go make contested catches a lot better than you'd expect of a 5'10 wide receiver. If you get 13 games of Deion Burks, it's going to be a problem. The good kind of problem, by the way. He'll be a problem for opposing defenses. Frisco Sooner says, Parker Steely, next thing you know, your uncle will be trying to kick a Texas fan's butt on the Senate floor. Doubt it. I don't think there are any Texas fans on the Senate floor. None of those people are smart enough to be in politics. Drew from Flower Mound sitting here thinking about how we've dipped this low in NIL for men's basketball. We all need to commit tax fraud and give the program our money. Piss off, Uncle Sam.
I wish it worked like that.
Maybe it will. Maybe they'll do away with income tax. Maybe. I don't know.
Move to Texas.
That is true. Texas doesn't have state income tax.
Right.
We're all still subject to federal income tax. But, hey, maybe they'll do away with it. I guess it's gotten talked about on my Twitter feed. I don't know how realistic it is that could come to fruition. But, by the way, Bijan Cortez is on my television right now. Do you remember Bijan Cortez?
Did he go to Wichita State?
He's at Wichita State.
Okay.
And right now, they are locked in a battle with the number 1 seed in the American Athletic Conference, Memphis. Memphis leads 79-76. with 26 seconds remaining. By the way, a very intriguing update from our man Blake Gamble, who's running the YouTube stream, but also keeping an eye on what is going on in playoff basketball across the state of Oklahoma. Very relevant update for OU football fans. 4-star Oklahoma defensive end signee CJ Nixon, he had himself a day for the what are they, the Weatherford Tigers?
No clue.
Weatherford Tigers, right? Weatherford Eagles. Thank you, Blake. I was not really all that close. 32 points and 11 rebounds for CJ Nixon in Weatherford's 68-58 victory over North Rock Creek. They will play the winner of Douglas and Crossings for the state title tomorrow. So we could see CJ Nixon versus Jaden Nickens for all the marbles. Wouldn't that be fun?
I forgot Jaden Nickens just came back and just hopped on the team as if he never went to California.
4 high schools in the last 4 semesters for Jaden Nickens. Well, I guess technically 3, 4 moves. Fall of 23, he was at Millwood.
Mm-hmm.
Spring of 24, he was at Douglas.
Yep.
Fall of 24, Sierra Canyon out in California, and now back to Douglas.
So what's the over-under on how long he's at Kansas?
The thing that's going to be interesting for me to see is, like, at what point does the 2-sport thing evaporate for Jaden Nickens? Because I'm just not convinced it's happening. I'm not convinced it can happen these days for any college athlete, regardless of how talented you are. I just don't think you can balance 2 sports.
I agree.
With the demands that those schedules place upon you, and also the crossover between football and basketball season, right? And so I'm just not convinced that Jaden Nickens is going to actually play 2 sports at Kansas. And if he doesn't play 2 sports at Kansas, does he stick around and play 1, or does he maybe transfer somewhere else where he can try to play 2?
Especially the fact that he's better at football, too. Even though he's a pretty damn good basketball player. Will he want to transfer to a more prestigious football tradition school?
Here's a parallel for you. Keon Coleman.
Florida
Coleman,
State.
Yes. Spent his final year of college at Florida State. Spent his first 2 at Michigan State. He was at one point committed to Kansas to play both football and basketball.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. This was the summer of 2020. Committed to Kansas over Oklahoma. Those were his final 2. Committed to Kansas over Oklahoma.
Really?
Because Kansas was going to let him play both sports. He decommitted at the very tail end of the cycle. It looked like he was going to stay home because, remember, he's a Louisiana kid.
Right.
Looked like he was going to stay home and go to Tulane, of all places. National Signing Day rolls around. He signs with Michigan State, goes up there. I don't recall that he ever did anything on the basketball court for the Spartans. He may have been with the team for a year, but I don't recall him ever doing anything on the hardwood. And then obviously it becomes apparent that he's a much better football player, at least when we're talking about professional prospects.
Right.
Professional outlook. And so he focuses on football, has a really good sophomore year at Michigan State, transfers to Florida State, balls out his junior year, winds up a high draft pick of the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
And he's doing just fine now. So
Drew from Flower Mound. CJ Nixon scored 32 points. I do that in my 5v5 at local basketball game. If you have a spot around here, Drew, if you're still in Norman, to hoop, let me know.
Do not let me know. I do not hoop.
Let me know.
I cannot hoop.
I will pull up.
I guess I can hoop. I'm not a shooter. I can knock down a corner 3 from time to time. That's about it.
Okay,
I shouldn't say
Mike Miller.
I shouldn't say I'm not a shooter. I'm not a slasher. I also can't really dribble with my offhand. So.
I can set you up. I was a point guard.
Really?
I was.
Okay. How do I get better at dribbling with my offhand? You just do it a lot?
Yeah, you just got to work on it.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Unfortunately, I don't have time for that. Mark and Blanchard getting all political. No state income taxes just means they make it up in property taxes. Yeah, it's probably true.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Texas property taxes are high, except guess what? I don't plan on owning property anytime soon.
The Waffler says, where is Eddie Pierre-Louis, Grayson? I think he was referring to your top
Yeah,
five
to my
list.
top five of
well, and I
not
think,
talked about enough players.
I think the reason we're not talking a ton about Eddie Pierre-Louis is because it's way too early to tell whether he's actually going to earn a starting role. You know, like those offensive line battles are never settled, never anywhere close to settled this early on in the process. Generally, we got to see it through to the very end of fall camp to get a sense of what Bill Bedenbaugh is going to do with his starting offensive line. Heck, you remember 2021? What he did that camp? I'll remind you if you don't. Tyrese Robinson, who had played the last 2 seasons, to my recollection, as Oklahoma's starting left guard. Bill Bedenbaugh said, you're moving to right tackle. And Tyrese Robinson played right tackle for Oklahoma in 2021. So, Bill does some unconventional stuff, and let me tell you, he is not a guy that's going to hand anybody a starting role until all of the dust settles. So, could Eddie Pierre-Louis start for Oklahoma on the offensive line this fall? Absolutely. Will we know if that's the case until late August? Certainly not. Certainly not. All right, folks, let's hit a quick timeout. When we come back, more of your texts, more OU football and recruiting talk. Keep an eye on the storms for all of you. I say the storms. It's one giant storm. The dust storm and all of the fires that have cropped up across the state as a byproduct. So we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll try to keep you distracted with some good, solid OU football and crootin talk on the other side. Keep it here on the Ref. You're listening to the home of Sooner fans.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is the Ref, home of Sooner fans.
Ever wonder why someone would leave the roads they know for places they don't? Maybe a better question is, what are you waiting for? Pacifico is brewed for those who follow their own path. That's living life anchors up.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Mathew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information. That twinge in your knee isn't going to wait until Monday, and neither do we. At Orthostat, we've expanded, so you get better hours, better facilities, and the same great care. Open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. Whether it's sprains, strains, fractures, or joint pain, from knuckles to knees and every joint in between, our same-day, affordable care gets you back to life faster. Visit OuchOrthostat.com to learn more.
Confidence comes from knowing you're getting a great deal. That's why we're offering Confidence Ford employee pricing for everyone. The same exclusive prices our team enjoys, with fantastic savings on new 2023 and 2024 models in stock. Now is the perfect time to drive home in a brand new Ford. Visit us online or come see us in person, conveniently located at 825 North Interstate Drive. Confidence Ford of Norman, a Cavender Auto family dealership, where confidence is Cavender.
Hey, Sooner fans, we've got you covered. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
No, we don't get a break.
This is the home of Sooner fans.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
A luxury experience awaits you at the Artesian Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Relax in one of our elegant suites, complete with exclusive dining options. Take a trip to the Soulrenity Spa and let your cares melt away, or enjoy upscale shopping in our many boutiques. And don't forget to explore your gaming options for your chance to win big. Find your luxury experience at the Artesian Hotel, Casino, and Spa, 1001 West 1st Street, Sulphur, Oklahoma. Call 1-855-455-5255 or visit artesianhotel.com for complete details.
There's strength in family, and there's strength in partnership. Hi, I'm Josh Edge with Armstrong Bank, where we believe in building financial stability and enduring relationships. As a family-owned community bank since 1909, we'll always be here to support you because we know that true strength is in our communities. Armstrong Bank, strength runs in our family. Visit armstrong.bank, member FDIC.
Is your team coming to Norman or Noble for an event? Let Chick-fil-A 12th Avenue be your winning meal provider. From box meals and nugget trays to lemonade and tea, 12th Avenue Chick-fil-A can provide your team's pre- or post-game meal. Delivery, pickup, or dine in, 12th Avenue will have you covered. Call us at 405-310-3189 or use the CFA One app and let Chick-fil-A feed your team. Don't forget to ask about the Give Back program for a winning season. Call 405-310-3189 and remember to eat more chicken.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Per our man Damon Lane at KOCO, there has been a 74-mile-per-hour wind gust recorded in Oklahoma City. And that's Oklahoma City, mind you.
Yeah, I believe it. I just drove through there.
Not any of the outskirts. The city itself. Smoke everywhere right now as I'm watching KOCO's severe weather coverage here on the screen in the Buffalo Wild Wings studio. Also, they've got fire expert Eric Harlow on the phone. That's got to be a really cool job to have. Fire expert?
That's...
I mean, you get hopefully no more than one day a year where you're the main man on weather coverage and newscasts.
Well, tell it to the people up in Cali.
Ugh. By the way, there's a photo of Javonte Barnes circulating on social media right now. Javonte Barnes, and no, he's not playing right now. He's not practicing this spring as he recovers from that foot injury. Javonte Barnes looks jacked up, and everybody's remarking on it. That is a man that has packed on some muscle. And if he stays healthy, man, I think Javonte Barnes' senior year could be a memorable one. It's all contingent upon health, as it is for really anybody, right? Like, you're only going to perform at your best, obviously, if you're 100% healthy, and that's kind of been the bugaboo with Javonte Barnes is since his freshman year, he has not been 100% healthy for very long at all. Probably the closest thing to it was mid-season last year when he really started to gain some traction, rushed for 200-plus yards against Maine, and that was the same game where he injured his foot, which cost him several games there down the stretch for Oklahoma. He stuck it out. Came back stronger in 2024, and that injury bug bites again down the stretch, just when it felt like he was really starting to hit his stride. So if you can get 13 games out of Javonte Barnes in 2025, it's going to be a very exciting prospect for that Oklahoma backfield. Very exciting possibilities. Drew from Plymouth asking the real questions. How do we feel about Carson Beck and his girlfriend breaking up? Think he should go for the other sister now?
No, the other one's dating – I know you're kidding. The other one's dating Jake Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson, the Cowboys tight end?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Carson Beck, to me, has always been the ultimate epitome of money and social skills can get you a long way.
No joke, man. Like, at what point do you just quit while you're ahead, you know? Like, you're not going to be able to pull from out of your league for much longer.
You think Carson Beck was the one that left the keys in the cars?
That left the keys? Oh, the cars that got stolen?
The ones that got stolen?
Yeah, probably.
You think that's why she dumped him?
When I look at Carson Beck, I'm like, there can't be a whole lot between the ears, right?
You don't think so?
Mm-hmm.
I still think he looks like that one South Park character.
What South Park character? People have said he looks like Sid the Sloth, which there's...
That one's hilarious, too.
There's a likeness there, no question.
Which, is it, is it Kenny that people always... Did you watch South Park?
I never have watched
I
South
didn't
Park.
think you had.
Well, I've seen like social media snippets and all of that. I've never actually watched the show. I need to get around to it, but that's also a show that has like 20-something seasons at this point.
But here's the thing: they do run together, but you can pick it up whenever and just watch episodes here and there and just get a good laugh out of it.
Okay. A 918 listener says, with money, he'll pull from way out of his league. Yeah, how much longer is he going to have that money? You think he's an NFL quarterback? I sure don't.
Brian and Bixby, she dumped him because he couldn't stay. Yeah, his old Snapchat thing.
Just don't use Snapchat, folks. Just don't use Snapchat. Snapchat was a preferred method of communication when we were in high school and like the early college days when you were still getting to know people. But once you develop your social circle in college, man, you got to start acting like an adult, and adults don't communicate via Snapchat.
I'm not going to lie. One of my best friends is 26 years old. Me and him communicate primarily on Snapchat.
A shame. It's Timmy, apparently. Is
Yes,
the South Park
it is Timmy. Thanks, Drew.
Uh-huh.
Timmy!
Patrick has followed up. Every leaf in Oklahoma is in my living room. I'm sorry, Patrick.
Oh, no.
Prayers going up. Give Cavens a call.
Please do.
Uh-huh. John and Ada says, Grayson, come down to Ada on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5:15 a.m. We hoop until about 7. So there you go.
I would love to come down to Ada. I didn't know where Ada was until I just looked it up, and it's an hour and 15 minutes from here.
So you're getting up before 4 a.m. is what that means.
Yeah. That'd be pretty rough.
Grayson is the type, at least from my impression of him, that is far more likely to be up and going to sleep at 4 a.m. than waking up.
Oh, no. My bedtime is about 12. Is midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Midnight, 12:30.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am more of a night owl than an early riser. I can get up about 6 a.m. to go work out before I come to the office. Anything earlier than that is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, you feel up and wake up, you feel like you're hitting your face against a brick wall.
Literally.
Trying to get out of bed. Jay from Medill says, not every leaf is in Patrick's living room. Gunny has a few.
Valid.
I see what you did there. Man, I want to circle back around to another conversation from yesterday, which is the conversation surrounding Michael Hawkins and the quarterback situation at Oklahoma. And look, it's John Mateer's job. John Mateer is going to be given the opportunity to start. He's going to be given the opportunity to fail, and he's going to have to fail if Michael Hawkins is going to get the nod, in all likelihood, Grayson. But what are your realistic expectations for John Mateer in 2025? Because to me, and I know maybe this is not the rah-rah sunshine and roses answer that people want to hear, but I'm not of the opinion that John Mateer just has an unbelievable statistical season for Oklahoma.
No, I don't think. I'll give it to you this way. I don't think we're talking about John Mateer in the Davey O'Brien Heisman Trophy conversation. I don't think that's going to happen. Could he have a season similar? And I know if he reaches these stats, that would be very impressive. To what Kyle McCord did this year at Syracuse.
Kyle McCord.
Now, Mateer has a lot more athletic upside than Kyle McCord does.
He does.
Which may drop the passing numbers. Basically, what I'm trying to get around to saying is I think he's going to be an impactful quarterback. I think he's going to be a guy that doesn't turn the ball over so much. We'll see. We'll see how much he likes to put the ball in harm's way. But I'm with you. I don't expect some ginormous year. I don't think he's going to throw it all around the yard like Garrett Nussmeier did last year with all those receivers at LSU. But I do think he's going to be in the neighborhood of 3,200 passing yards at 800 rushing yards.
Well, and to me, the biggest question is, I agree with you in a rough sense as far as the overall production. I think it'll be good, not great production. I think that's all it needs to be. But I'm really curious to see how Oklahoma's offense operates stylistically. And what I mean by that is the last several years, one thing Oklahoma has really, really lacked offensively, and it's been conspicuous really ever since 2020, I would say, it's lacked explosiveness. It has lacked consistent big play potential. And, of course, that was one of the present realities. That was one of the factors that just left you enamored with those Oklahoma offenses from 2015 to 2019.
Of course.
Every single Saturday, you could count on one, if not more, long touchdown passes or touchdown runs. Highlight reel plays. And that hasn't been Oklahoma's method of production, method of success offensively for the last 5 seasons. Does Oklahoma return to being a big play offense? Do they have the capacity to operate as a big play offense in 2025? And I guess where I kind of question that is how much arm strength does Mateer actually have? Is he going to be able to go over the top? And I touched on this a little bit yesterday. Like, you absolutely do not question that John Mateer is going to be able to stand in the pocket or get outside the pocket if need be and deliver with precision to the short and intermediate levels of the field. Much like Dylan Gabriel did, right? Like, you do not question that aspect of his game. It's there on tape. It's conspicuous. And he's quite adept at it. But is Oklahoma going to be able to present the continual threat to the opposition of, okay, if you don't cover all of your bases, we're going to be able to hit you over the top for a 60-yard bomb at a moment's notice? And if that isn't the case, is Oklahoma still going to be able to keep the gears turning successfully without the constant threat of a big play down the field?
So he's an athletic. You know what? He's an athletic Kirk Cousins. Very accurate, short to intermediate, but we still have a little bit of questions if you can burn us over the top.
Yeah.
I think that's an athletic Kirk Cousins, which, by the way, people, that's a pretty good quarterback.
Yes, it is.
Before y'all get on me, that is a pretty good quarterback.
And it's not to say, right, that John Mateer has never hit a deep ball, because he's hit a deep ball, right? If you're a quarterback, you got to be able to hit a deep ball, and every quarterback worth their salt can. But one of the reasons so many Oklahoma fans were just losing their mind watching Dylan Gabriel play the quarterback position is because they were used to Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams and even Spencer Rattler.
Rattler.
Like every single time you got that deep shot and it's there, you're going to hit it.
But let me ask you this too, because Oklahoma's receivers got hurt a lot. We know Deion Burks is a guy that can own the middle of the field, can take short throws and turn them into big gains. Does Oklahoma have a receiver that can legitimately threaten deep and stretch the field like that?
I think they have several. I think they've got several. And I think Deion Burks is probably the most potent of those threats. But Isaiah Satania is a speed guy. I think Giovanni Gibson is a deep threat in a different – and Keontez Lewis. Lewis is a guy that I do not want to get lost in the shuffle here, because as much praise as there has been for Giovanni Gibson, publicly and otherwise, there are folks in the program who know what they're looking at that believe Keontez Lewis is going to be a lot more impactful for Oklahoma this fall than we probably are giving him credit for right now. And the way it was phrased to me is he's a different kind of killer than Giovanni Gibson. You know, Giovanni is a big-bodied receiver who's got some speed, and if he gets a step on you deep, he's going to be able to climb the ladder, make a catch for a chunk gain. You know, maybe it doesn't go all the way to the house, but he's not somebody that you can let get a leg up on you, get an advantage on you if you're a defensive back. Keontez Lewis, really, really intrigued to see what he actually looks like. I mean, I had one person tell me, and I probably wouldn't have made this comparison because it sounds like a lofty one even though it's not intended to be, but a poor man's CeeDee Lamb.
Still a pretty dang good wide receiver.
Yeah, and I just even if we're using the poor man's label, I would stop short of comparing any Oklahoma wide receiver, past or present, to CeeDee Lamb because that dude was just one of a kind. But, if Keontez Lewis can be the kind of comprehensive threat, even 40-50% of the comprehensive threat that CeeDee Lamb was in the passing game, then it's going to be a tremendous asset for that Oklahoma offense. Very diverse group of wide receivers. A bunch of guys that I think complement each other's skills very nicely. And you know what? As long as they stay healthy, which is a big if when you look at last year, sure, but as long as they stay healthy, I like the weapons that John Mateer is going to have at his disposal All right, folks, that's it for the day. That's it for the week here on Locked In. For Grayson Singleton, I'm Parker Thune. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, Monday at